first?
Okay, we can do that first.
Okay. Wasn't in the plans, but it's in the plans. Okay, so
I'm excited. I haven't seen any of this, by the way.
you haven't seen any of it at all?
None of it. I saved it.
Interesting.
I
Alright,
Okay,
you
saved
want
it
to start,
right
Bruce, I guess?
for
Whatever you
this.
interesting. So, welcome one and welcome all to the Mortified debate, judgment, reaction. Let me show screens here. So, this is technically a part 2 to the debate where we debated the previous time. That we'll wait for Acolyte to join for the judgment on that one. But this is the follow-up debate that me and Mortify did in the Sage's Dojo. Shout out Sage. So this is 10-10.
You really need a second monitor, man.
You're not wrong. This is 10-10 versus Kimimaro. So just right off the bat, Immortal, between those two combatants, who do you think wins?
Against who?
10-10 and Kimimaro.
Which versions are we talking about here?
Well, we could say both part 1.
Kimimaro.
Interesting. So, is there anything in particular that would lead you in that direction?
Well, I would say 1010's not really that impressive of a shinobi. I hate to sound harsh or sound, like that, but it's just part 1, 1010. No, sorry.
Okay. And what about you, Angus? Would you agree? Disagree?
So yeah, part 1 versus part 1. Kimimaru absolutely smokes 10-10, obviously.
Ooh, obviously. Well, what makes it so obvious to you?
Uh, well, I mean, it's pretty simple scaling stuff. He was smoking broccoli and Gara, and obviously the both of them smoked 10-10. I mean, Tamari off-screened her, and she's like the second strongest or third strongest between the. Or I don't know. Maybe some will say she is the strongest of the Sound siblings, but actually, Gara destroyed an entire forest area on his own, quote unquote, on his own, whereas pre-Shikaku, pre-cloaking, whatever. Whereas uh Mari needed to summon, so you can use like forest scaling if you want. And then there's also like the fact that he was also incredibly sick, but he still has all these amazing feats and stuff. But then there's also the fact that he smoked Naruto before this, and then he was running the ones with Brock fucking Lee while in Drunken Fist, which seems like an amp of some sort, like a Gates level amp, about roughly. And then Gara came in, and he was running the ones, I guess, if you want to say, with the both of them, um, and keeping up pretty well. And we've left 10-10 in the dust long ago by now. And so, I mean, obviously, 10-10 is queen by the Boruto era. Uh, she's the female goat. If you know, you know. But back in part 1, she was like scrub. She was a scrub. Let's be real. Um, so yeah, I mean, he also has counters to all of her weapons and stuff. Like, oh my God, she has a seal with kunai in them. Oh no, I'm so scared. Like I'm Kimimaro. Oh no, I'm so scared. Like no, he's dealing with that easily, quite easily. So honestly, I think he just probably blitzes and one shots, but you know,
Interesting.
I think I made the case. I think I made my case.
Okay, fair enough. So, the majority of this
Again,
debate.
again,
Oh, yeah?
again, again, just one final thing. No hate to 1010. She's in Boruto era, in the new era. She's the best. But yeah,
Love to see it. So the majority of this debate, starting at like 14 minutes onwards, is all a single point. It's 0.5 to be exact, since that's like, as you can see, like 40 minutes in, since we're still in 0.5. So the first like 14 minutes is all the first 4 points that more or less don't matter, and was just me giving him whatever other stuff. This 5th point is where it really gets down and dirty. So I don't know if we wanted to watch the first 4 points just to see the different 4 points for like spicing it up variety reasons, or if we just wanted to start at 0.5, but
I'll start at 0.1.
okay. So I
Yeah, it's
guess
fine.
if we're ready to begin,
Well,
then
start at 000.
okay. Well, for the record, this
I
is
haven't seen any
49
of them.
minutes
Oh,
long, but
okay.
we also don't
It's
have to
fine.
watch the whole thing. But yeah.
It's
So I'm gonna let it.
it's
Should I let it play at 1 time speed, or speed it up a little bit, or 2 times
You can go
speed, or
1.5.
1.5? All right, sounds good. I'm
Yeah.
going to, just for the beginning of it, since I have to go to the bathroom, I'm gonna just let it play and not be here to pause it for a couple minutes while you guys listen to it and get into it or whatever.
I might actually head out for tonight.
Well, then switch to
Okay.
normal speed, actually.
All right.
Switch to normal speed because, yeah.
How about 1.25 times?
Well, okay, just go to the bathroom. I can discuss some other stuff while you go, and then we
Too late
can.
playing
You
it. I'm
start, I
going.
guess, whatever, you start.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
So
whatever.
I'll just continue based off where we left off last night, basically, to where
Oh God, the audio
generally Kimimaro is the strongest because everything in the data books and the series, and we could just get into it from there. So you have like the agnostic
So
stance.
if I
I'll just
briefly,
give it short.
my character is 1010 from
Sure.
Naruto, and I'm taking an agnostic stance, so I don't have to really scale her anywhere. I'm just of the disbelief, or excuse me, I'm unaware of things that would lead me to the belief that she loses. So I'm yet to be convinced. All right, so what's gonna be the first argument for why Kimimaro is above everyone?
So were you correcting disbelief because of the agnostic stance would leave you to have no belief?
No, an agnostic stance doesn't necessitate whether or not you believe in something. At the moment, I clarified that it's based off a lack of being convinced. So I'm not going to scale 1010 anywhere. I'm just not convinced that you could scale Kimimaro above her. I don't see why that is the case. So it's not that I'm refuting that. I'm just agnostic to it. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah. Okay, so if I have Kimimaro as the strongest in part 1, then 1010 would be below that.
Yeah, what's the
Okay, I
argument for
don't
that? You
even
just
know
keep
why.
saying he's the strongest. Like, why would he
I
be the
don't even know
strongest?
why
So sure, I guess we
Oodie
could get into
questioned
it.
me on that
I'll just
because
list some data book
we're
stuff
on the same
unless you want
page
to
here.
debunk all data book stuff just immediately.
I mean, you could send a scan if you like. We'll see where it goes.
Sure. But one of the data books I think says Kimimaro has the strongest bloodline because he comes from the Kaguya clan and 1010
Yeah,
doesn't.
we
So
just
that should put
agree
him
on
above.
everything. This is so.
Here, I got this right here.
X. Wait, he comes from Kaguya's clan?
Yes.
Let's see. The strongest bloodline Kimimaro appears to stand for. Wait, what part of it suggests that he's a part of Kaguya's clan?
The very top, the strongest bloodline Kimimaro appears. Well, it's also his last name. His last name is Kaguya.
Okay, so why
Yeah,
does him
this
having
isn't
the
a
same
long.
last name as someone necessitate being relative? Like, I know a lot of other people that have their last name, which is
Oh
my
my
last name, but it's
God.
not going to be suggestive of them being my actual relatives, for one. And then for two, you're also assuming that 1010 isn't a part of the clan. There's no contradiction in 1010 also
God.
being a part of the family, hypothetically. And then third, we're just assuming that Kaguya even is the strongest family. And then fourth, we'd be assuming that being a member of the family necessitates like some sort of superiority. So there's a lot of assumptions going on with this like interpretation and like claim about Kimimaro.
Okay, whereas I could contest the other 3, I think the you can't prove 1010 isn't part of the clan is so funny, I'll let it slide.
Damn, that's that kind of aura.
Okay, so off the record, for anyone in chat.
So thoughts on that? What do you think about that point that I let him have?
Yeah, as I was saying while you were gone, we basically agree on everything regarding Kimimaro, so I'm kind of pointless, which is funny. Regarding that point that you let him have, you can't prove that she's not part of the clan. I mean, actually, you can because he comes from a specific village, which she does not, right?
1010?
No, because Kimimaro, he came from like a specific, like Orochimaru had to seek him out in like a specific village.
Yeah,
right?
no, he obviously was not born anywhere near Konoha.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
unlike Tenten
and
was.
1010 obviously was,
Yeah.
unless because you would have to prove that she doesn't. So that's a greater claim.
Yeah. Oh,
So
by
yeah,
the way,
Mortified.
Kamui, I know I didn't correct him to say he's from the Kaguya clan, not Kaguya's clan. I did that intentionally because he hasn't read Naruto, and I thought it was funnier that way. He also didn't
Yeah.
question it, so I guess he just believed it outright.
By the way, can you turn the volume up on the video? Because it's really quiet.
Yes. Kimimaro is also stated to be the only survivor, but again, the point wasn't
Yeah.
about him being right, since, like you said, it's the easiest thing to debunk in the entire world. Multiple
Yeah.
different ways.
Yeah.
It was about it being so funny, it was
Yeah.
worth giving him the point.
Fair enough, man. That's fair, yeah.
Does Tintin have a last name?
I agree
Did I
with
just let
that.
that point go for no reason? I don't think she does have a last name, unless her last name is Tin, and her first name is Tin. Is that
I don't know. I
Oh,
really
by the
don't care.
way,
Yeah, I don't know.
by the way, about that, I remember looking up on like the wiki, 1010 just randomly, as you do, you know.
Of course.
I mean, who amongst us hasn't, right?
By the way, pretty sure Kamui and I have talked about the Tintin first last name thing in the past. I think that might have been where I
Yeah.
subconsciously got that from to say that.
Yeah, if you want to pull up the wiki,
You and
you don't
I
have
link the
to.
wiki?
I guess I can, whatever, sure, okay. I'll put it in the chat. In like the
Okay,
Discord chat.
Cowboy. Don't make it sound a bold question for
Uh,
Well,
uh,
whenever you're
okay.
ready.
Or where do you want it?
Anywhere.
Okay, I'll put it in the podcast chat, yeah. Okay, it's there.
Okay. So, Tenten. It's all
Yeah.
one word implying first name. They also
Yeah.
just always call her Tenten instead of just Ten. So,
And you can also look something else up, which is like Mei and Yui from
yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen, but you don't need to. So if you scroll down to trivia at the very bottom.
We just control F trivia.
Yeah, so I can explain that. So there's for those that don't know, in Jujutsu Kaisen there are these sorcerers, uh, a high first grade named Mei and her little brother named Yui, and they're related, but they don't share a last name. So anyways, yeah, as you can see, the name 1010 literally means heaven, if written with those two kanji, but written as 1010 with different kanji, it can also mean little by little, this and that, here and there, or dot in Japanese. Yada yada yada. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Okay. I will take a screenshot of that just for Kamui's salad and bolts thing.
Yeah. So I think what that's getting at that is like I guess that's like a thing in Japan where sometimes you just have one name repeated and you're part of a family, maybe like obviously like you have parents and whatnot, but you don't necessarily you don't have take on their last name or their not last name, in Japan you have different the family name.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how that works. I don't know, type shit. So
We'll also ask her about Chocho.
yeah, Chocho Akimichi. So what that does is not, it doesn't inherently mean she's not part of the Kaguya clan, although if she was, she probably would have, like, she would be like Ten Kaguya, would probably be her name.
Well, that's just another thing, is that the fact her last name isn't Kaguya right there.
Exactly.
If she has no last name, then there you go.
Well, it's not that she doesn't have no last name, it's that she just didn't, her parents didn't give her their family name.
Yeah.
Is likely the case.
Well,
oh, the picture's right there.
Definitely.
There's the picture.
The picture? What now?
just her profile picture from the anime.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, back to the thing here.
Yeah.
Either. I don't think it's confirmed anyway. That's hilarious. I guess using an actual series argument here,
Can you turn the volume up a little
Orochimaru
more?
wants Kimimara's body over anyone else.
What if that's just because of the Kenkai Genkai that Kimimaro has?
He has the strongest
volume?
Kekkei Genkai.
On the
I don't
video?
agree to that. I just said, what if it's because of the Kekkei Genkai?
Then it would be because it's the strongest.
Why?
Why?
Does Orochimaru say the reason I want him is because he has the strongest Kekkei Genkai, or does he just say he wants his body?
Yeah.
Because
no, he
my
definitely-
interpretation is he could want his body because of the fact that he has a Kekkei Genkai. But I don't know if you're able to prove that the reason Orochimaru is seeking out his body specifically is because he has the strongest Kekkei Genkai. It could be the case he just wants a Kekkei Genkai as to not having one. That's like, would you rather have Kool-Aid or water? It's just preferential. You might just want to have a Kekkei Genkai.
At that point, I would just say he has the preference to choose between Kekkei Genkai since he would have multiple people he could choose from. Which would be
Alright.
anyone with
What
Kekkei Genkai.
other Kekkei Genkai?
Yes.
You really should have just left on screen that one panel from the data book saying that he has the strongest bloodline, because that really seems to debunk everything Mort has attempted to get across thus far.
See, one
Because
thing you'll realize, debunking things is only the most fun when you go about it in the most roundabout way you possibly can.
in the most what way?
Roundabout way.
Roundabout way, yeah.
Kamui says I'm probably doing it on purpose. I absolutely, obviously was.
No, and I fully agree with that, with all that. But I'm just saying you should have left it on screen. You don't even need to acknowledge it, just have it on screen because it just makes him sound even more ridiculous.
Yeah. One thing that I'm thinking about now that I didn't think about in the moment, and I thought would have been funny, is he takes whatever the dude's name, Genyu Maru's body. He does
Yeah.
not have a Kekkei Genkai.
What about it?
I just thought that was funny.
Oh, to further debunk what he's saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just took a random. Actually, there is a specific reason, but it's not because Genjumaru had a kicking Genkai. It's because he won the competition that Kabuto set up forth, which was
Yeah, to
all of you
find
kill
the
each other and whoever
strongest
survives.
person.
Yeah,
So if anything, that leads to not even it being the strongest Kekkei Genkai that he wants. He just wants the strongest person.
exactly. Which is further. Oh my god, I can't believe how stupid Mort is.
It's at his disposal.
Okay, we'll continue.
Sasuke's. Itachi's.
How do you know that he has an achievable means to obtain his Kekkei Genkai?
Through the body transfer jutsu.
Yeah, but that's assumption on whether or not it's going to work. Not only this,
Oh
but
my
he ignores
God.
the circumstances that leads to obtaining his body. He's a part of Konoha. He's a Konoha shinobi. You have to go through whatever he's willing to go through in order to get Sasuke's body.
Yeah. And he's willing to do that.
So how do we know this, and how do we know he has the capacity to do so?
So he could choose Kimimaro's body, which has a Kekkei Genkai, or he could choose Sasuke's body, which has a Kekkei Genkai, and is more difficult to obtain. And he's choosing Sasuke's body, telling us he has a preference.
This is like the stupidest point I could have made on purpose.
I'm glad you did, though.
It's also just ignoring the fact that Kimimaro was sick. I just love it.
Yeah.
You're literally making the opposite point. Exactly, Kamui. But I was making this point risking the fact that he hasn't seen Naruto to not realize that. I mean, it still works. I think it worked, but I think it's funny.
So wait, Mort literally hasn't seen Naruto?
No. He apparently watched it when he was a kid once or something. I don't know. That's what Sage said. But if you ask Mort, he hasn't seen it.
This is the most ridiculous shit ever.
Yes.
What are we doing here?
Well, I did ask Sage in private why he even let Mort in the tournament, and he never got back to me on that point.
I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised because, again, I was questioning him about uh, the whole thing about the bear being small town level, and he never got back to me on that. He was just like, and by the way, the bear that Sasuke fought in the Trinity Sands during the Karin flashback, that bear was small town level. Anyways, and I was like, wait, what? What did you just say? It's what now?
You said
Can you
Sage
explain
said
to me
that?
why?
I'm gonna write that down in topics.
And then, yeah. So, but we do love Sage here, don't we, folks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a nothing burger. You want to try again?
No.
Like that didn't respond to what I said, like at all.
Okay, do you want to repeat what you said?
No, I don't.
Okay, fair enough. So what's the next point?
That's it. That's all you're scaling.
Well,
I think you
no.
can end it here if that's all you got.
I have a lot more.
Okay, what's the next argument?
Okay, let's see what I...
So, since we both agreed to move on from point 2, do you want to give your judgment on point 2? Since I'll concede point 1. I gave him point 1 for the point of this tournament. Tenten is part of the Kaguya clan. So, what do we judge point 2 as? Since that was the end of it.
Okay. Okay, well, first of all, what I'll say about point 1 is that you gave him that point, but obviously she's not part of as an unbiased judge, she's not part of the Kaguya clan. We firmly established that. So you gave him that point, but you shouldn't have. But
Well,
anyways, yeah.
It's not really about should or shouldn't.
Fair enough.
Tommy says,
whatever.
I don't even know how to judge point 2. Neither of you really won. He just said you got anything else, and you said the opposite thing. He didn't understand, and neither wanted to restate their thoughts.
That's pretty much what I was going to say, yeah. This is so wacky, man.
Well, it's more of...
There's like...
It's because I already said my thoughts, and I don't think he really debunked it sufficiently.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. So you won that point. You won point 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously.
Okay, and Kami, would you agree with that, or do you still stand by what you said? Because the whole point of point 2 was like, why is Orochimaru taking Kimimara's body? If I had to, whatever that word is, co-opt, choose. Okay, if you had to choose. Yeah, you can still have your judgment of neither of us won the point if you won, but if you had to choose.
Yeah, so just to make it clear, in my judgment, you won that point, Oodie.
Okay.
Like it, yeah.
Okay, good to hear. You win because he just didn't really address your point, question mark?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
there you go. Even though it made no sense. Well, the funniest part about that is, Kamui, like you said, I was making the opposite point.
Yeah.
If anything, me winning helps him in a weird way.
You're making the opposite point. Like, you could argue against yourself and you would still be Mort.
I love it. Okay, well, here's
you could, like, you could steal a man his case and you would argue it better, yeah. Obviously, anyone could.
Instead of wasting right now. So Kimimaro has the strongest spear. What do you think about that?
Strongest spirit?
I'm sorry. What do you think about that? I love that I said... I was doing my best to not try and rage bait Mort and just let him say whatever rhetorical, packing, slamming things he wanted to say. Because I was afraid he was gonna, like, leave if I rage bait him. So, but, like, I tried to sneak in as much as I could, and that was a clearly obvious one of those.
Yeah. Completely valid, though.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that? That's good stuff.
Spear.
Spear? What's the argument for that? Because it's stated somewhere?
This is such a stupid point.
Let's look at that.
It's like,
all right, here you go.
So I think murder's wrong. What do you think about that?
Oh, this is one of the stupidest points. I love this.
And shield. Thoughts?
You're gonna love my elaboration. Oh, there's the thoughts.
Can you rewind a little bit?
Yeah, rewind a little bit.
That because it's stated somewhere.
It is.
Let's look at that.
All right, here you go. The strongest spear and shield. Thoughts?
What do you think that means?
I think it means it's the strongest spear and shield.
Right, like, in reference to what? Like,
the strongest spear and
for
shield.
example, like we can say things comparatively, in a group of people, or we could say things like universally, right? So, what is it trying to compare itself to? Like,
Well-
what is this in reference to?
Whether it's specifically Kimimaro and Gaara or universal, they have the strongest spear and shield.
Again, like, what? So, okay, how do you interpret it to be universally the case that they just have the strongest items or whatever?
So
But you didn't say
go ahead.
it is universally the case. You said whether it's universal or just between the two of them.
Well, but I also just intentionally, I guess you would say, strawmanned his point, because I said whether it's universal or specifically them, they have, that being the important word, they have the strongest spear and shield. Not that they're
Thing is,
using their strongest spear or shield, but that they, whether it's universal or specific, they have the strongest spear or shield. That makes all the difference in the
Yeah.
world. But go ahead.
It's just funny to me because you're both straw manning and steel manning his case at the same time because he's really not making a case.
Well, now this was one thing that I was just not gonna let him do his weird debate thing on. And I was just gonna reiterate myself. It means the strongest spear and shield. There's no way of getting around this, Mort. You can't apply skepticism to this. I'm not gonna let you do it. So I'm just reiterating. And it worked.
Good, I'm glad you pursued that.
I can't believe he never called it a circular argument or anything, but it worked.
Naruto.
Well, it's just stated
Same way
in
you
the
would-
manga. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
Sure,
as
any-
you said, you could apply skepticism to it, but then you would go down like the universal skepticism road, and you would start heading to find the. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Scott,
something
I
Clive
can see
brought up.
everything you're doing as you do it.
yeah,
I love it.
Again, like,
Yeah, that's why I
what?
don't-
So, okay, how
that's
do
why
you
I don't
interpret
really
it to
like
be
Death of the
universally
author.
Yeah. I also love, he's just so baffled by this. He's so confounded. He doesn't even know how to react. He says, what?
Define strongest. Define spear. Define and define shield.
Exactly.
the case that they just have the strongest items or whatever in Naruto?
No, the same way you would.
Oh, right there. Okay, that's important because he, even if subconsciously, because I said it, he said have. So, like, has the strongest. So, it isn't about them using their strongest whatever. It's about them having it.
So
Yeah.
you force him to unconsciously concede to your not interpretation, but your like thingy.
Even if
Your
subliminally it
proposal.
worked.
Yeah, that's good
Kimimaro
stuff.
has both the strongest spear and shield. I love it.
interpret anything
Yeah.
if you're asking how I interpret it.
Okay, this was me refusing to play his game. So this was another rage bait thing that I just happened to manage to get through. He just didn't. You guys pick up on.
So, okay, how do you interpret it to be universally the case that they just have the strongest items or whatever in
So the question is, how do you interpret it to be the case? My answer to how I interpret it to be the case?
Naruto?
No, the same way you would interpret anything if you're asking how I interpret it.
Nice, good.
I
stuff.
can't believe he didn't get mad at me giving that as my answer.
No, of course not. Why would he?
Oh, so good. Also, him saying item really shows how much he doesn't know about Naruto. I love it.
Well, yeah, I
Dude,
think you're assuming
I'm
that
like-
because of
I'm
this
like-
one
I'm
statement
like paying
that
attention.
this sword or spear and shield are just impervious to like everything else. And we're asking why, because you just said it's what, universally applicable? Why is that?
Kishimoto said it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a narrator statement from Kishimoto
Yep.
himself.
Yes.
The way
So
I
why
said
can't the
that,
narrator
just the way I said, just Kishimoto said.
That's
Love it.
how I would argue that though.
So good.
talk about things
Uh-huh.
comparatively in correspondence to a group rather than talk about things in a universal sense? Was the narrator restricted from doing that?
No, I said that either way it works.
Again, right? So like you'd agree that it's equally possible that it is universal, or it could be the case that it's just
Right, because that doesn't change anything in this case.
okay. So that's an equal interpretation. So you lost that point. We can move on. What's the next argument?
So obviously, I let him do that because that didn't go the way he thought it did.
What was his counter case?
It's an equal interpretation of whether it's universally applicable or specific. Even though from the beginning I agreed that it doesn't matter because it's about if they have it. He didn't ask why it doesn't matter. He tried to do some debate thing there that just didn't work, and he doesn't realize it.
Yeah, so
Funniest
again,
thing.
as an impartial, unbiased judge, Mort clearly lost that point. You clearly won the point.
Kamui, would you
Moving
agree
on.
with that judgment? It's so stupid. I love it. Okay, sure.
Because it could just be in reference to like a group of people, which is the two of them, because two people constitutes a group. So if it's the strongest comparatively to themselves, that's fine. It doesn't give us credence towards it being universally applicable. You just granted it's an equal interpretation, and you're on the affirmative, so you just conceded. What's the next argument?
Right. So, out of curiosity, I know. So, Kamui, you say this one is just incomplete because you didn't explain why it doesn't matter either. But I wouldn't need to explain why it doesn't matter if it just doesn't.
That's true. He didn't press you on that, so.
Yeah. So. Again, whether it's universally applicable or to like the specifics of Gaara or Kimimaro, it doesn't matter. So you could say either. In fact, I did specify both technically by saying either or whatever I said earlier.
That's true.
The point is that they have
Yeah.
it, and whether you apply that universally or not, there you go. I guess considering what you said earlier, yeah. They why it. Yes, Kamui, they do why it. They have it. There you go. Okay. You're not scaling, but what is your win con for Tenten? What does she do?
I don't need a win con. I'm taking an agnostic stance. Your burden is to prove why
Um,
Kimimaro can be anyone in part
Can I
one.
say something?
So I don't have to scale her anyway.
Of course.
In order to, in a debate like this, in order to win the debate, you actually do in fact need a win con.
Well, that's why I asked it.
Yeah, that was a good ask. So Mort lost 0.3.5.
Yes. And I was debating making that a 0.4 or 3.5, like you said, but I just, it's too
3.5.
short to do it, in my opinion. I just left that off the edit. But yeah.
I'm just saying for the sake of my judgment,
Okay.
the fact that he said that means he lost that.
Yeah.
I could say he lost the whole debate, but I'll just say he lost that point.
Okay.
Because like that's just a wrong statement. You do in fact need a win con. I'm sorry, but you do.
It's
In
just your
fact,
job to prove that
Oh,
he
yeah.
did lose the whole debate for that alone. That lost the debate.
Well, there you go.
she would lose to him.
To be clear, the topic is Kimimaro is the strongest, not if he can beat anyone in part one.
No, it's very clear in chat. I made it clear on recording as well. It's not just anyone in part one. It's you think he's the strongest in part one. So I said, okay.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you guys catch that? Mort's recording as well. I never consented.
Whatever, man.
Okay.
Prove that he can beat 10-10. And your goalpost is to prove he can beat 10-10.
Well, hang on,
Fair
wait,
enough. Okay.
hang on.
Yep.
I just also want to make it clear that it wasn't 18 the strongest, and it wasn't who he could be in part one. It was Kimimaro versus 10-10. That was the point of the debate.
Yeah.
That was the topic, rather. That was the topic of debate.
Well, in that case, he just speed blitzes one shots with the spoons.
Why?
Because he has Bracken dance. And the strongest speed.
Hey?
Oh, Kami, I know that you loved my answer for that one. Why? Because he has Bracken dance.
That was crazy work. I would just say, like, because obviously. Shut up. Shut up, you
I laughed
retard. He
so hard.
does
I did love it.
from scaling.
The strongest spear at the end.
Yeah. He blitzes in one shots because he has the strongest spear, as stated.
And I won that
Oh,
point.
actually, in fact, what you could also do with that is that you could say maybe it's not universal, but you could count in all spear. You could say like all spears into that strongest spear and strongest shield. And you could say that 10-10 being a weapons master likely has spears, and that his spear is stronger than all of hers, and that makes it better.
Yes. Okay, I want to rewind just so we can listen to this again.
Yeah,
fair enough.
go ahead.
Okay. Well, in that case, he just speed blitzes one shots with the spoons
Why?
because he has Bracken Dance and the strongest sphere.
Okay, does that
Oh, you
mean?
did say it.
He also has like 4 other dances
Wait, I don't care about the dances.
Yeah.
Why do you think that he's going to speed blitz 10-10?
because he's faster.
Okay, well, you should care
What
about the
makes you
dances
think he's
because each
faster?
dance
So
is
basic chain scaling would put
complicated.
Tintin relative
Yeah.
to the speed of Lee and Neji from the tuning exams, who would be slower than Kimimaro.
Wait,
So immediately, thoughts on my point there?
I'm sorry. I moved on to I didn't move. I just reacted to something that Space had in RDMs. What did you say? What was your point there?
So my point here is that basic chain scaling. Yes, Kawi, exactly. My point here is that through basic chain scaling, I have
Mhm.
10-10 speed relative to Lee and Neji.
Wow, that's it. That is a massive grant. You are doing way more service than he can ever possibly imagine.
So I just want, with that in mind, I want you to hear what his response is to me saying that.
Mhm.
wait, why are both of those claims true? Can you justify either of those claims?
The first one was me giving you the freebie of Tintin relative to Lee and Neji. You want me to prove that rather than saying she's slow?
You'd have to prove that because you just claimed it. If not, you'd be backtracking. We dropped the point.
No, you're granting him a thing. You're not claiming something, you're granting him something. Oh my God.
I'm giving him that for free for no reason.
My brain is
Teamwork
melting out of my
isn't
ears.
fun. Exactly, Goblin. Goes on about
Uh,
backtracking. Oh my god, bro. It's so funny though.
forced lobotomization.
Take it.
Oh my God, this Mortified sounds
Bro, there's no way. You can hear how baffled I am.
First one was me
Yeah.
giving you
Claims true. Can you justify either of those claims?
the first one was me
The pause and the the stuttering of the words. Like, I can't
Yeah.
believe he said that.
I feel you there completely. Yeah, I would be the exact same if I was in that position.
giving
I
you the
feel so
freebie
bad
of
for you,
Tintin
man.
relative to Lee and Neji.
Exactly.
You want me to prove that rather than saying she's slow?
You'd have to prove that because you just claimed it. If not, you'd be backtracking. We dropped the point. What do you want to do?
Okay, then we see them all training and relatively fatigued and tired and all that under Team Guy.
And once again, this is like the stupidest and worst way to prove this point that Tintin's relative to them in speed, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how stupid it is. You didn't need to do it at all.
I know.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'll be
I
relative.
can go to the gym and exert myself whilst the bodybuilder next to me is also exerting himself, and we're both generating sweat and we both get tired. That would still be assumptuous of me to equivocate our working out.
They're
in
doing
terms
the
of
same
potency.
workout. They're
Okay,
training for the
okay.
gates.
Okay. Pause for a sec. So what I could say to that, if I was being a debate goon, is I could say, and I'm not going to, and I know a lot of people hate when folks do that, but I'll just, you know, roll with me here.
Yeah.
What I could say to that is that was an quote unquote appeal to reality. Now, I hate that sort of argument because I do like appeals to reality for certain things. So I'm not going to make that point. But if I was being a debate goon, I would say that
You mean for against Mort or against me?
against Mort.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
definitely didn't want to do that because I could debunk that in other ways, as you'll see. Here, I'll go
Yeah,
back.
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Is also exerting himself, and we're both generating sweat and we both get tired. That would still be assumptuous of me to equivocate our working out.
They're
in
doing
terms
the
of
same
potency.
workout. They're training for the gates.
Because that right there was all I needed to say. As long as they're doing the same workout, then that's what matters. If they're equally tired doing the same workout, rather than like, because based on his example, it would be like, oh, the bodybuilder that's lifting like 300 pounds as opposed to me who's lifting like 100 pounds. Well, then yeah, it would make more sense if one gets tired over the other. It doesn't have anything to do with how strong one is. But if they're doing the same workout, then obviously that does matter.
Right.
But yeah.
Prove that. Prove that they're doing the
Yeah.
same workout. Just because they have the same goalpost doesn't
Oh
mean they're
my
using
God.
the same amount of output.
Yeah, so I didn't say this, but I did go back and rewatch the scene just coincidentally the other day. Yeah, I think it is just stated. Like, Guy says something or the other along the lines of that. So if not
They
that, then
were
something else that I could use.
that they were doing the same training, or
I forget exactly what he says. It might not be same training, that concept at all. It might be
I'm
something
working
else.
just as hard as I'm working Lee.
But I was like rewatching that scene, just coincidence
Actually-
because it was on TV. It's the primary Lotus training. Yeah, exactly, calmly. Where only Lee could make it his own. Yeah. So there was other things in there that I could have used for sure, but I didn't. But that's okay.
My God, the fact that you just like, yeah, she's relative to him. My God, dude.
Like, we could both say that me and the bodybuilder are trying to reach a certain pinnacle, but that's still not going to be suggestive of me and the bodybuilder equivocally exerting force, right? So we both could be working out at different degrees, despite the fact that we have the same
This is
goalposts. So you're
totally
still assuming that
completely
1010's capped
hypothetical,
at the
by
other
the
two
way.
shinobi's levels, and because they have a relative or similar or
Like
the same
he
goalpost.
doesn't at all consider himself an IFBB pro in his own head canon of himself. He doesn't think of himself as the pinnacle of bodybuilding. Totally.
Which just doesn't follow.
Okay.
I'm
10-10
sure
loses to
psychology.
Tamari.
Why?
Well, that happens in the series. She did do that. He said why to that, by the way. It's like what
I
you want me to
know.
say.
I'm just in my head. I'm rolling my eyes, man. Why?
I mean, are you allowed to kill
Is
in
that
the tuning exams?
Yes.
You are? I thought they prevented that. I'm pretty sure they like
It's-
stopped Neji from.
Well,
Like,
that's
killing
kind of
Oh
the
my
point for that was that
God.
the match was over. You're allowed. So yeah,
Okay.
this was pretty
Can I just-
bad. But to be fair, I
Yeah.
can imagine someone forgetting that based on what he
No.
used the Neji thing. They stopped Neji, but it's
No,
still pretty
no.
bad.
Sage should have stepped in at this point and shown the panel, if
Oh,
not stopped the debate outright.
well, you know, this is
Just
the one
because of
point
lack
he
of
probably
knowledge.
did win because I just refused to prove it, even though it's the most obvious and easiest thing in the series to prove. But
Well, no, I'm saying Sage should have stepped in and just shown the panel.
yeah, no, I know, but
Because
Sage
the training-
wasn't in the call. He wasn't like here at the
Oh.
time. He was too busy doing something else.
Was there anyone else there?
Yeah, it was just us talking. I don't think I don't know if anyone else was like there to moderate or whatever. But Kamui
Okay.
says he would have said they're allowed to kill, but the proctor / sensei are also allowed to stop the match before it happens too. Yeah, but if I did say that, then he would just say prove it, and I wouldn't feel like finding it, so I just let it go.
Allowed to
Oh,
kill.
yeah, okay,
but,
well
like,
you should have provided the panel of
Yeah, again, I could have. I just didn't want to find it. But I think right here is me saying exactly what Kamui just typed.
Well,
Like,
that's
killing
kind of
his sister,
the
right?
point for that was that the match was over. You're allowed to kill, but like the proctor or whatever is allowed to stop the match at any time. It's kind of a
Yeah,
weird
there you
rule,
go,
but like
Kamui.
that's like randomly how they describe it.
I mean, you could prove that.
Yeah, see. I mean, it's just in the series.
That's not an argument. You have to prove your claims. Prove it's in the series.
You want me to prove that the proctor could stop the match?
No, you prove that they're allowed to kill.
Prove they're allowed to
Oh
kill
my
the
God.
students. What I'm confused
Uh-huh.
if this point helps or harms you. I'm confused on the relevance of the point. If you can explain the relevance.
That's just a tracking error in your, and I'm not going to hold your hand. Prove that they're not allowed to kill.
Okay, it's not a tracking error because there's nothing to track in the first place.
It is a tracking error because you can't track. Please prove that they can't kill.
Okay, in that case, then I'm just going
Or
to
that they can
not
kill,
prove
excuse me?
it because I don't
Huh?
care to prove it. 'Cause
You
I
don't care to
think it's
prove
relevant.
it? Okay, well, I put your claim into question. You don't care to prove it, so it's not going to be fulfilled in this debate. You've lost that point. What's the next argument?
Okay, so I've lost the point that they can kill in the tuning exams, to be clear.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
No, okay, to be clear. No, you did not. They can. I don't know if you're the exact panel, I could probably look it up myself, but
Yeah, so by the way, I don't think, first of all, that obviously wasn't the point. That was
Can you
not
say
the
that
point
again?
for. Wait, what's that?
can you say that again? My headphones are bugging out.
Yeah, so first of all, I obviously didn't lose the point. I just didn't prove it. So it's not like he won the point, which wasn't a point. Exactly. He only agreed to losing the point about killing in the exams. Exactly. No, exactly, Conway. It's so funny how he thinks that's what the point was when that wasn't point 4 at all. But I mean, that's all he
What
really
was
had to
point
say
four
on
again?
that. What's up?
What was point 4 again?
It was the Speed Blitz one shot based on relative scaling of Tintin relative to Lee and Neji from the tuning exams.
Right, right. The most
Yeah,
gracious.
and again, his counter to that, you're allowed to kill in the tuning exams.
Yeah.
He does.
Oh.
I don't know if I don't remember debate enough if this should be allowed to count. I think it would depend on whatever judge. He does give his reasoning for it after the point is over, but obviously we've already moved on from the point, so I don't know if this would count for the point since he didn't say any of this during the point, but he's about to explain why he thinks that matters.
So if it's to be the case
Yeah.
that 1010 doesn't have the capacity to kill, then when she's operating with the capacity to kill, could be a massive discrepancy. So in this like topic or whatever, we assume that your character is probably going to try and defeat or kill my character, and that's what you're trying to prove that Kimimaro has this capacity to defeat her in a fight or kill her. Under such circumstances, she could be operating under the willingness to kill, and if it's to be the case that there's no contradiction in her killing intent version of herself being superfluous to the non-killing intent version of herself, then
She
even
can
if I
kill.
hypothetically steal your scaling, which I haven't, but just hypothetically, if I accepted what you said, it still wouldn't be sequitur to the 1010 that I'm using in this debate. So that's the purpose of the importance of whether
Use
or
the word
not
secular.
you won or lost the killing point.
The killing point. Okay, yeah, so he just missed the point of point 4. But okay, so to reiterate his argument in a lot more simple terms, he's saying that because Tintin wasn't willing to kill in the tuning exams, it's basically a nerf, or she's suppressing her true, full, all-out power. Whereas in the fight against Kimimaro, she'd be fighting to kill, so she'd be going all out. That's basically the argument he's getting at.
Yeah,
but again,
which obviously is not.
He just
It's
didn't
not
say
a
that
valid
during the
argument
point.
because she was allowed to. They are allowed to kill in tuning exams.
Yeah, no, well, obviously in the series, obviously, I guess for the point of the debate, I didn't prove that they can kill, so I guess it just depends on how you want to.
You should have.
Take that, but yeah, I just didn't feel like it. I mean,
I'm still gonna give you the point.
Part of it is I didn't feel like it for the sole explicit reason that I'm already granting him Tintin relative to Lee and Neji, and he's fighting me on that. To say she's lesser or whatever.
This is the worst debate ever, man.
So if it was like something else that I wasn't just giving him for free, then I would probably fight against him on it. But yeah,
you should have gone to moderator for that.
Well, yeah, Kamui, no, I should have brought up what you're saying, is that this would apply equally to everyone in the tuning exam, so Tamari would be equally as nerfed based on the can't kill rule thing or whatever, but yeah.
That's true. The can't kill rule that doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, there's also, Kamui, what I was specifically thinking at the time was the Kakashi Haku thing, if you know what I'm talking about, the instinct to kill versus desire to win. I didn't want to use that here, because I want to save that for the Sage debate, but yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So those are the first 4 points. None of those points matter, in my opinion. It all comes down to this last point.
You also won all of them.
And
so that definitely was not something that could or could not be tracked, since it wasn't stated. Either way.
No, I just
yeah. Okay, so do we agree with me on this? Because he said it was a tracking error. Since everything he just said, I didn't track, apparently, but he didn't say it.
I'm gonna look up the definition of tracking real quick.
You have to look at the debate definition.
Yeah, I'll go on Merriam-Webster.
Too stupid to figure out where
type shit. Define.
See, the problem with that, Kamui, is that he's just using the word tracking wrong as it's used in debates. Like you said, you can't track the path of where he's going taking it. But again, Kamui, I don't know if that matters because again, he's saying it outside of the point itself.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm even bothering. Yeah, obviously he's wrong. Obviously he's not just wrong. He's incorrect.
Yeah, so I don't know. See that I wouldn't know? Okay, that's fair, Kamui. But yeah. And I could be wrong on that, to where he's technically allowed to say that after the point, and it would only be conclusions, which we just aren't saying here at all. But
again, the problem here is that you guys didn't have a moderator, So this isn't even a debate. This is actually just a discussion.
And that's okay with me.
The argument. What wasn't tracked earlier was the point about the killing thing.
So real quick, could you just clarify what I didn't track about it, just out of curiosity?
I'm not obligated with doing that.
I know, that's why I'm asking.
Okay, bro. All right.
Unless you can
Okay.
demonstrate why I'm obligated with doing things in a way in which you desire, then I'm not going to
Because you
do
made a
It's not
claim.
about obligation. It's about, are you willing to do it?
No,
And if the answer
it
no,
is
then we
about
just move on.
obligation. He is obligated to that.
Okay, I don't want to. I don't have to.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's all you had to say. You don't have to say anything about obligation.
That's not fine.
Okay, so then why does Kinemaro beat 10-10? Because you currently have nothing as we speak.
Yeah, well, bracken dance.
Oh, you brought it back. See, this is why you shouldn't have brought it for that earlier point, because you were bringing up Pierre. But
No,
anyways,
it's fine since he's not going to contest me on that either way. I'm glad I said it twice.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I thought 0.5 was going to be the nose, not bracken dance. So you're going to see how we get to that calmly. But yeah, so this is the funniest way to get to
What does that mean? What does that do? Where's that scale?
He can make a
He
lot
says
of
that.
bones on the ground, and they go really high into the sky.
Why is 10-10 gonna like die to that?
Because she'll be pierced
Oh my
and
god.
stabbed and killed.
I think that begs the question of how durable 10-10 is. Like, what suggests that she's going to be pierced by the bone's potency?
Well,
my
she has
God.
skin like anyone else,
Mm-hmm.
and bones can pierce skin, as we see with Kimimaro.
See, I feel like that last point there was really important, as we see with Kimimaro, implying a basic minimum durability for the bones or whatever. They have the AP to pierce Kimimaro based on whatever you scale his durability to. So 10-10's durability would have to be above Kimimaro.
Obviously, also his bones are stronger than tempered steel. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Well, you'll see what I do about that later on. Pro 10-10 is wind level. She's not surviving the strongest spear. Well, there's also a second reason to mention that last thing I did about the bones being able to pierce Kimimaro's skin is because Kimimaro just is a character who exists in Naruto, and that matters for the next thing that Mort's about to say.
No. But can his bones specifically pierce her skin? Because you're assuming that in a fictional universe,
my
everyone
God.
has equivocal durability in a shonen battle manga, which just isn't true.
Okay, perfect. So now you're making a claim that her skin could be different from others. Can you prove that it could be different from others, or would be?
Yeah, so the way that we determine logical possibility is using a framework of a lack of a contradiction.
Dude.
So it's going to be conceivable, therefore it's logically possible.
Possible
Now
isn't
we can
plausible.
talk about practical possibility. The practical possibility in Naruto is that we see evidently that characters in Naruto fluctuate in durability, meaning that not everyone has to have the same durability. So demonstrating that the ash bones work on like some random shinobi or like Gaara or whoever you want to think it works on isn't inherently secular to whether or not it's going to work on 10-10. It's very simple.
That's not how you use the
So
word
her skin
secular.
could just be so durable, she could just like flex her chakra, whatever you want to interpret it, to where she doesn't get pierced by the ash bone or by the
I
bones.
interpreted that she's a dumbass.
So the problem with that is you said that durability fluctuates.
Said it can.
so I'm gonna pause right there so we can sit on that for a second. So
Yeah.
Angus, thoughts?
Mhm.
Just giving you a chance to speak here.
Yeah, technically that is correct, but that durability can fluctuate. I guess. I don't know. It is also kind of weird. Maybe it doesn't. It's not really shown either way in the series, which he hasn't seen, so it doesn't matter. There should have been a moderator.
Kamui
This
says,
debate
please
never
tell me
should
you
have
steal
happened.
Ashbone and say he has Ashbones and use it against him. Part of that wouldn't matter because the Ashbones would still need to pierce 10-10 skin. Well, I guess don't necessarily. I guess I would need to prove that, but I don't do that unfortunately, Kamui. I also just didn't hear him say that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Need to pierce. Exactly. Yeah.
Fluctuating durability is a weird thing because again, durability is weird in Naruto. It's not really, you don't have like crystal energy reinforcements.
Well, but everything else he said you can dismiss because he said, and I'm quoting him here, durability fluctuates.
Yeah. What I'm saying is like that's not really clear in Naruto because you don't have like chocolate reinforcement or whatever.
Well, where that matters is if durability fluctuates, and I'm going to get into this. Does he mean per person or what? Because that would apply to Tintin. So Tintin's durability fluctuates.
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't matter if there are times where her durability is so strong that she can't be pierced, like Mort is claiming. Because if it fluctuates, there would be times where she could be pierced.
It's also not technically Ashbone, it's Dead Bone Pulse in the literal English, or in the Viz, it's Corpse Bone Chain for some reason. Or the Japanese name is Shikotsu Miyaku. So it just isn't Ashbone. Ashbone is the name of it's all killing Ashbone, and it's the name of Kaguya's Kekemora technique.
Yeah.
They're technically slightly different.
Here, I'll rewind a little bit because Kami wanted me to hear for the Ashbone thing.
Now
Was
we
it
can talk
plausible?
about practical possibility. The practical
Again,
possibility in Naruto
I
is
just-
that
I
we
just
see
went over-
evidently that characters in Naruto fluctuate in durability, meaning that not
Awesome
everyone
saying it, by
has
the
to
way.
have the same durability. So demonstrating that the Ashbones work on like some random shinobi or like
Okay, he did say Ashbones.
Yeah.
Okay, to be fair, Conway, the moment he said fluctuates durability, I tuned out everything else because that's all I needed. He lost the point the moment he said that.
Gar or whoever you want to think it works on, isn't inherently sequitur to whether or not it's going to work on Tenten. It's very simple. So her skin could just be so durable, she could just like flex her chakra, whatever you want to interpret it, to where she doesn't get pierced by the Ashbone or by the bones, whatever.
So the problem with that is you said
So that right there, he said ore bones or whatever. I think he corrected himself. He realized it wasn't ash bones, but I could be wrong. Either
That's
way.
funny.
Yeah.
that durability
He also
fluctuates.
corrected himself by saying sequitur there instead of secular, so that's also funny.
I said it can. And the reason I said it can is because it's possible. And the reason it's possible is because it doesn't have a practical contradiction or logical contradiction within the verse.
So
Bruh.
by that, do you mean it can fluctuate for everyone, or that it does fluctuate for some and doesn't fluctuate for others?
I don't have to answer that question because it's only specifically correlated to Tenten at the moment, right? So we're just saying that it's logically possible and practically possible. It's in the realm of both possibilities in which she just has greater durability than the bones themselves. She also could block. She has tons of ninja tools. She has a shit ton of ninja tools, bro. She has like fans and swords and like kunai's bullshit. She could just like block the swords. Excuse me. She could use her swords and like kunai and
No,
like,
she
weapons
can't,
to block
'cause they're
the
the
bones.
strongest
Even
spear.
if you thought for some reason that they would bypass her durability, but I haven't accepted that, nor have you proven that. But just like there's also another alternate argument as well. If you're concerned about her skin.
Sure. So ignoring the skin, what if they pierce through a hole in Tenten's body? Rather
Here we go. So this is how we get to this. Tomorrow's Wind works on Tenten, but not Gara. We also get Tenten past Gara's Sand Shield durability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
I also love the fact that he refused to clarify his stance based on my question, which doesn't help him since he would need to clarify it to help him. So because if anything, he only reiterates again that durability can fluctuate, and because it can fluctuate, that means it can fluctuate. Like that's making it worse for him. He's digging a deeper hole.
On top of being wrong, it's also circular.
Yeah, but he does say the other thing with the ninja tools, which I don't contest because I don't feel like it. So either way, for the point of this, I'm just operating going forwards under the idea that Tenten cannot be pierced by the bones.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm just giving him that because I found this other way to where it doesn't matter anyways. So the rest of the debate. And Conway, the reason this is why Tenten's nose matters is for all of the rest of this. I'm going to let it play while I go to the bathroom again.
Okay.
than the skin. Since we know that organs don't have durability in Naruto the same way.
Yeah, what hole? Does Tenten have a hole in her body that I don't know about?
It could go through her mouth.
I think that supposes her mouth is open. I don't know why it's the normative assumption that Naruto characters would have an open mouth as opposed to a closed mouth. I think that's a little silly.
Okay, well,
like, why would they just arbitrarily have their mouth open conveniently to swallow bone dick? Like, that seems kind of retarded.
Yeah, do you think that at any point in the fight, it would be in character for Tenten to open her mouth?
So even if it was the case that at some point in the fight she has her mouth open, you're still assuming that for some odd reason that she has an inability to not block the bones, as I said, with her weapons or just dodge I don't see why it's inherently going to follow that she's going to get blitzed or even tagged by these bones, especially let alone in the mouth. Your argument currently is that he has to put the bones down her throat when she conveniently has her mouth open. But I'm asking, under what circumstance provided would that follow? Via likelihood, of course, because if you just say it's possible, you get equal interpreted. So why is it likely the case that Kimimaro is going to have the ability to create circumstance in which she opens her mouth so that he can exert his bones into her?
Right, so under the
Like,
possibility to where Tenten's durability is so high, then Kimimaro is going to realize this and realize this is his only tactic to take down Tenten. So, because her nose would get in the way of seeing her eyes, because it obstructs her field of vision, so therefore her field of vision doesn't matter how good her eyes are, then he's going to attack from below and then enter the mouth that way at the moment that she opens her mouth with that tactic in mind.
Right. You're still assuming that he has the capacity to do that. We're asking for an argument. So, like, hypothetically speaking, I can, like, have knowledge on Superman if he existed and know that in order to defeat him, I need to, like, access kryptonite so that he can be weakened. But let's say I have kryptonite inside, like, a shelf or some box, and, like, Superman's in the same room as me. Me knowing that and having an idea as to how I can potentially defeat my opponent doesn't suggest that I'm going to have the capacity to do so, because Superman is, like, an outer infinite speed person. So he could just blitz me and, like, rip my head off. Before I actually access the kryptonite. So you saying that it's possibly the case that Kimimaro rationalizes that the only way to defeat Tenten is by putting his bone in her mouth is still contentious, because we'd still be assuming he can do this simply because he can potentially discover a methodology to win.
So I'll pause it right there to see if anyone has any thoughts, since that was a lot. And if nobody does have
Hello?
thoughts, then we could... You hear me? Hello? Yeah, you can hear me.
Hello?
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Yes?
I can hear you.
I was saying that I was pausing to see if anyone has any thoughts, since I got back from the bathroom.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's all wrong on the face of it. So, like,
Okay.
I just don't even want to, like, for the sake of argument. No, fuck that. Like, I'm not even for the sake of argument. This is just wrong on the face of it. It's so wrong. It's so stupid. And so in need of a moderator that I don't even want to grant him any of it.
Okay. I can't believe he never contested me, because I say it multiple times. He never once contested me on the organs in Naruto have the same durability thing or whatever as normal. My brain is
Yeah.
going for his bad arguments.
That is pretty crazy, but we're so beyond the point of no return with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Knowing that I need to access kryptonite in my drawer to beat Superman doesn't grant me the speed or anything, or the resilience or the skill or anything
I want
necessary
to say something about that
Yeah.
point, which is that he mentioned that the kryptonite would be on the shelf in his little scenario there, and if the kryptonite's on the shelf, then Superman is still affected by it if he's in the same room. So he's just wrong on his own hypothetical, on his own. He's wrong on his analogy.
Okay.
The
Calmly said.
kryptonite,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
the kryptonite would need to be in a lead lined case.
Oh, Conway, that is so funny. Except I don't think it would actually work, because if anything, that would debunk the rest of the organs, because obviously people use their chakra to re-enhance their skin, as he already said. But what
they
Conway
don't.
says is
That's
I should
never-
have said organs durability can't be increased as Kakashi states. Get him to agree. First of all, if I went farther with it, I don't think he would agree. I think he'd ask me to prove it, and at that point I don't feel like it. Then I would say, okay, skin is an organ, which is funny.
You know what?
You know
what also?
Like he doesn't say
You know what also
internal
you could have
organs.
done?
He probably
Is
does.
that you could have done the same thing he was doing, which is you could have asked him, okay, prove your point.
I could have.
You should have.
Well, where's the fun in that when I can debate noses?
I mean, fair.
to evade Superman's attacks before I get to the kryptonite. He will blitz and kill me before I get to the kryptonite. So you saying that he can, like, conjure this methodology of victory isn't sequitur to it being actualized. It's very simple.
Yeah, so this is easy, because it doesn't really matter what Tenten's reaction speed, or speed just in general, is, because if she can't see the bone coming, then Kimimaro's stats
What
don't
what
matter.
what makes you think she can't see the bones?
What I claimed earlier about the nose, which is already a previous point at this point, there's obviously no backtracking in a debate. So that
Okay, that was obvious rage bait to get him mad as well. Just another thing I threw in.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're throwing that.
has to go.
No, that's what we call an argument from silence, right? You're assuming that because I didn't say anything
Oh,
that I've agreed with
okay,
your
bro.
claim. That's not how that
Argument
works.
silence
I do
is
have the
your
right to continue.
entire
You
So
do,
what you
but
said was that her nose would be
thing so
obstructing
far
her
has been
vision. What I
nothing
did
but
was I let you
arguments from
speak. I didn't want to
ignorance.
interrupt you. I want to say, no, you're wrong. I let you speak. I let you finish your points. You made multiple points, so I chose to address them in multitudes of ways. So I do have
What
the
a
capacity
jerk.
to
No,
address
you
it
haven't
without
addressed a
backtracking.
single thing in any way.
You're using an argument from science if you think that I accepted it simply because I didn't say anything with immediacy. I don't have to immediately respond to your point in order for it to be not considered or considered backtracking. That's
okay,
just wrong.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, why is it going to be the case that her nose is obstructing her vision?
Because she has one.
The second he thinks he's got me reeled in, I just cast myself back out.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. You were good at that.
Oh, I love it. He thinks he has me on the ropes, but I'm not even tied up.
Yeah.
You're
Why
doing
does
the,
having a nose mean
bobbing
your
and
vision's
weaving.
So one argument I was expecting him to make that he never made was that Tintin doesn't have a nose because she's a 2D anime character with no depth or whatever, and the line is just drawn there. How do we know that's a nose and not just a whisker mark or something else like what Naruto has? He
I
never
am
made that
surprised you didn't
argument.
make that.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. He just never did.
Mm.
But yeah.
obstructed?
Well,
Mr.
as you
Oodie,
may
sir,
know,
how do
the
you assume she has a nose?
Exactly. So this next point is really important, and in my opinion, what the rest of the debate hinges on. And so we keep coming back to this particular thing that he's about to say, and he hates the fact that I keep bringing it back up after we're beyond it, but I keep doing new things, so it's fair.
Why does having a nose mean your vision's obstructed?
Well, as you may know, the nose is in between the eyes and the mouth.
Yeah, why does a nose existing in that area of space suggestive of blockading your vision?
Because
I have a nose and it's not blockading my vision currently, and it's in the same place that you described 1010s would be.
it is definitively doing that based on its depth.
Prove that.
Your eyes
Look
cannot
down.
bend around your nose. It is a straight line
Look
view.
down.
Again, prove that 1010's vision is
Look
blockaded because of the
down.
existence of possession of a nose.
So I'm just gonna pause here
Right.
real quick. So Kamui, Angus, are you guys understanding my point that more clearly, clear as day, isn't?
Yeah, your point is there's a blind spot under your nose. A small one, but
Yeah,
she has
because your
such
nose
a
is
big,
in the
enormous,
way.
gigantic nose that it creates a bigger blind spot.
It's just so funny, bro. The nose doesn't even have to be that big. Like, as long as it has any depth at all, it's gonna be in the way. He seems to
Yeah.
be saying, prove this matters. You're just saying it objectively is obstructive. The blind spot does exist, no matter how small. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it matters because that creates an opening for him to.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
there's such an easy counter to this whole thing that he never brought up of just any other way that she could detect it, such as obviously she would hear it coming through it, like, rampaging through the ground or whatever. Like, obviously, she'd be able to hear it going. He just never made an argument like that. The closest he get is arguing she might have sensory capability, but he drops that point pretty quickly. But I can't believe he never argued that she'd be able to hear it coming or anything. It's like grinding through the ground. He just doesn't say that. The funniest is smelling it coming. That's so funny because her nose is so big.
You know what? I'm actually going to say that you lost this point. You lost 0.5 because you engaged in his ignorance when
Well,
you shouldn't have.
Well, Angus, that's where I feel like you just haven't learned the walkie-talkie way yet.
No. I agree that this is more fun and that you still won the debate, or you won the argument. You still won the argument. You just lost the debate because you engaged in his ignorance.
See, Mort, I feel like this is just just a difference in our brains to where it's
Yeah.
it's not just it's not being comprehended. The fact
No, I mean, I
that
feel like
the fact that 0.5 exists is the reason this debate exists in the first place. The other 4 points to me are irrelevant, and 1010's nose is this debate to me.
I feel like you would agree with me, like if you weren't, baiting, obviously, that the point is stupid and ridiculous, and the fact that you're engaging it is a loss.
Well, no. You have it backwards. The fact that I'm forcing Mort to engage with this obviously intentionally stupid and ridiculous
Yes.
point means
Yes.
I won.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. I'm saying again, you did win the debate. You just lost the argument.
Mort, I feel like it's
I
still
know.
not sinking in. Let's take a step back here. So
Here, I feel like what I'm saying is sinking in, because what that means is like the debate is like um the back and forth, whatever, like the points being argued, who's winning in each point, whereas the argument is like the specifics.
So let me just show you something really quick.
That's fine.
Because I feel like you're really losing it here. Okay. So I'm just gonna show you something. Let me share my screen in this kind of way. Because you're getting lost in the weeds of 0.5 specifically or whatever. I just want you to know. Okay, so these are my DMs with Conway from like 1-6 when we did this debate. Yeah, so this is saying, for better or worse, at least we can say we did it after he refused. And it was both of us. We persuaded him.
Yeah.
Now that's the debate we won. The fact we didn't
Yes.
at all was a win.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I fully agree with you there. You did win the debate. I'm just saying because you engaged in this point, in this ignorance.
You're still just not grasping it. It's
No!
not about what the result is. It wasn't about whether or not it was fun. The fact that Mort debated us means we won. Because he didn't want to do it.
Oh, okay, fair.
So we
Fair.
won. Take
Okay.
that, Mort.
I do not contend it anymore.
We got
did,
our way.
Yeah, you again. You won both. You did win every. Again, it's just weird to me.
Well, I feel like you're just not understanding the fact that the first 4 points isn't what I wanted. This last point is what I wanted.
Can you repeat that?
For me, the nose thing is all I could have ever hoped out of the debate. The rest of it, you can throw it away. I don't care. The nose thing is the only thing I care about.
There, I guess.
Anyways, continuing.
Appeal to real life.
Oh, there it is.
So, for the record, if it's not made obvious later on where I say the same thing again, I'll just say it now. I'm obviously trolling when I say what I just said. So I'm going to go back so you can see what I'm saying that too.
Your eyes
Well, this
cannot
whole thing
bend
is
around your
technically
nose.
the
It is a straight line view.
Again, prove that 1010's vision is blockaded because of the existence of possession of a nose.
Appeal to real life.
Because at this point, it's just so absurd and ridiculous. I had to say that.
That's yeah.
It's not an appeal to reality. An appeal to reality fallacy is not a real fallacy. But despite that not being a
Oh
real
my
fallacy, because it
god,
isn't,
bro.
it's a power scaling term used in the debate community. So it's not actually quote unquote fallacious. But
This
to
from
address it
Mr.
anyway,
Appeals.
just to explain to you why
From
it's not an
Mr.
appeal to reality,
Argument
quote
from
unquote fallacy,
Ignorance.
which isn't even a real fallacy. But even if it had been a real fallacy, it still wouldn't follow that it actually is, in this case, that fallacy. And the reason being is an appeal to reality fallacy is when you say that because this thing happens in real life, therefore it must happen in fiction. So if Superman can fly and human beings can't fly, and I said, well, because humans can't fly,
Can you pause?
Superman.
The only real instance in which an appeal to reality thing matters is when you're arguing for speed of light and faster than light. In which case, yeah, if you say like because no object in real life can travel faster than light, that means that no object or whatever in real life can travel faster than light. That means no character or object in fiction can travel faster than light. And that's basically the only case in which you are engaging with a fallacy. Because obviously characters in fiction can travel faster than light. It's just yeah, so that's yeah.
Well, ignoring that, this is my appeal to real life. So does that even really matter?
No, I'm just making the point clear about what he's saying. That
Yeah.
it's yeah.
I thought it was hilarious how he, like, 40 different times said that it's not a real fallacy. He really had to make sure that got through. He needed to make that as abundantly clear as possible.
I mean I'm essentially I am agreeing with him and I do agree with him that it isn't a real fallacy and well except for that one case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Superman can't actually fly because that's not how it happens in real life. That would be an appeal to reality. But me just creating some sort of likelihood inducer as to why, with parsimony, we'd have Naruto reflecting the human race is based on the normality and expected evidence of stories. When we're digesting fictitious media, you typically, to understand it to the utmost extent, we ought not assume the arbitrary as to not arise confusion. So we solve that issue by assuming that there's normative physics comparative to human biology until there's contradiction. So Naruto has balls and a heart and a heartbeat and lungs, and he has to breathe air, so he could suffocate just like people. But then if there are characters that later on in the series can travel in space and contradict that, then we wouldn't be able to hold on to that real life logic. So the idea is when we're digesting fictional media, we assume that they're operating under human standards if the people in the series are described as humans, which I think that the humans in Naruto are described as humans. I'm not sure of that, but I'm pretty sure they're called humans. So if it's the fault that they're called humans, then the normative expectancy would be to assume
Yeah, that's true.
that they operate under similar physics until disproven. So with that in mind, right, me, Mortified, Bishop, the debater,
So, well, it's really funny he says that. So before he says this next thing he's about to say, that right there, he's basically giving me my point. My appeal to real life goes through. Because where I thought he was going with this was just because our noses in real life obstruct our vision doesn't mean that it obstructs anime characters' visions. Maybe Tintin's nose doesn't obstruct her vision because it doesn't have depth. I thought that's where he was going with this. He's going in the opposite direction. Listen to this.
Have a nose, but despite me having a nose, my vision is not blockaded. Tintin also has a nose, and she's a human being, presumably, and her vision is neither blockaded. So it's not an appeal to reality. It's just a means of increasing likelihood towards the assumption that it's unlikely that she'd be, her vision will be obscured. Excuse me.
So has Mort never looked down?
That's what I was saying before. I was saying look down.
Because he believes his vision isn't obstructed because he has a nose.
Yeah.
So I think he's just intentionally and this is good for the debate from his perspective, I think he's intentionally trying to strawman my point for me to say her vision is obstructed in general rather than only when she's looking down to see her mouth.
That's being generous, because it could be the case that he just doesn't realize the fact that our noses create a blind spot.
I mean, that's funny too.
I think it is genuinely that he doesn't realize that.
Yeah.
I don't think that I've commit any sort of fallacious act.
Interesting. Okay.
Makes sense?
So I understood what you said. So
I love my righteism. I do with that. Yeah, no. I got what you said, but so stupid.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, when you say that you, in real life, your nose is not obstructing your vision, that is in reference to your mouth, correct?
So that's what I was getting at earlier, to see if he's trying to say obstruct vision in general, or when you look down at your mouth. And this is me basically calling him out on his absurdism, to say, obviously, you're wrong. Your nose is obstructing.
Again, I don't.
I want to hear him say it again.
Again, I don't think it's absurdism. I think he just genuinely doesn't realize that there is a blind spot there.
And that's exactly why I wanted to hear him say it to my face, as directly as possible, twice.
I don't believe so.
And he started to backtrack a little bit. It was so confident. Now it's an I don't believe so.
Yeah, so like if you put your finger under your, like, directly onto your nose, on the top of your mouth, or your top lip, then you won't be able to see your fingernail. So like, there is a blind spot there, obviously.
There you go.
Yeah.
You don't believe that your nose is obstructing your vision to your mouth.
Because again, that's just my strategic insinuation of just making him out to be the most ridiculous person of all time for not realizing that.
Yeah.
Like, I sound so shocked. Like, what do you mean you don't?
Yeah.
No, I don't have a reason to be convinced of suchness.
Of suchness. Okay, have you ever looked down?
I don't think this is getting anywhere as far as that point goes. So I think we just move on. I think it's pretty clear that you're like
we'll
losing
move
every
on
point
from
at this point.
the real life thing of you. So
yeah, so that's me saying we'll move on from that specific of Mort point, because I'm starting to realize that if I keep that going, he's just gonna leave. So I was gonna move on to like a slightly different thing here. That's why I sort of dropped it where I did, because I feel like I got my point across as well as I needed to on that. The fact he even wants to move on sort of proves the point. God.
No, so 1010 is not going to have her vision obscured for any weird reason. So what makes you think that Kimimara's bones are going to work on 1010?
So first of all, the reason that the appeal to real life does work, first of all...
So that's me, again, doubling down on appeal to real life, despite him saying appeal to reality fallacy like 20 billion times. So
yeah.
I just wanted to make it clear. I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I disagree with you just dismissing it because you don't think it's a real fallacy. The fact that you know it's a fallacy in the first place shows there's some level of validity to it, since people in real life define terms. But ignoring that, it would matter, because this isn't picking some random thing out of a hat. This is specifically analyzing one specific aspect of the Naruto series and comparing it to real life, rather than just any random thing that we can't assume. It's not guilty till proven innocent or anything like that. It's instead a specific thing that we can look at to determine whether it is the case in fact or not.
So what you said is false.
I was hoping he was going to call me out for the not guilty until proven innocent thing, because that obviously is such a weird thing to say in this context that doesn't apply at all. He just doesn't call it out at all. Like, the concept is still technically there. I was just trying to bait him into calling that out, and he just didn't do it. But that's okay.
Yeah. I just... I mean, I feel
it
like
also
we're
didn't
done
really
here.
interact with the Steelman interpretation I gave. But beyond this, just to shit on your argument further, we could even take to the fictitious appeal of Naruto. There are characters in Naruto who have noses, like 1010. And we have an expectancy towards the characters not having their vision blockaded, despite the fact that they have noses in the exact same location that you just prescribed for 1010. So if that's to be the case, then using expected evidence and, you know what I'm saying, overwhelming induction, we would just take it as to say there's multitudes of characters in Naruto via probability that have and possess noses, but despite this, do not suffer any sort of fluctuation in terms of their vision.
In terms of
right,
being
we
able
can
to
see
see
this
their
with
mouth.
Naruto versus
Fluctuation is so a straw man, but I didn't call him out on that. That's okay.
Sasuke in the Valley of the End. Both characters have noses, and they don't have any trouble with their vision. In fact, the opposite of suchness is suggested. Sasuke literally upgrades. He unlocks different tone wave for his Sharingan, so he's quite literally using his vision and enhancing it to get upgrades. And there's tons of instances like
Again,
that throughout the
here's where I would say prove that, because as we all know, he didn't actually watch the series, so just to be a troll and myself, I would be, can't prove that.
Yeah, he's just bogging down his point with a lot of various irrelevant details that don't matter. So I'm not going to call him out on any of the other points here. It would just be his example is Naruto and Sasuke's final fight. We don't see an example of that. That's all he had to say. All this is just extra stuff just to, I guess, lead me in a different direction.
series where characters both having noses don't seemingly have this blockade of vision. So even if I accepted everything you said, which I haven't, just hypothetically speaking, even upon a third fucking Steel Man, it still doesn't go through because it fails on parsimony in terms of the holistic approach of Naruto. You look at all of Naruto, you realize there's so many characters that have noses that seemingly aren't getting blockaded. So it wouldn't actually follow in terms of likelihood. There's no induction to be had in which Tenten is going to be blockaded because of her nose. When we have tons of characters with noses of relative size in the same area of space that just seemingly aren't blockaded with their vision. Does that make sense? If not, I don't really care. We can move on. What's the next argument?
So it's definitely a straw man because it's not blockading vision in general. It'd be blockading vision to the
All
mouth.
right,
In
bro.
fact, we do know that this is the case because one of the examples you listed actually was wrong. Naruto vs. Sasuke, their final fight, we actually do see this play into effect.
Oh my god.
So I really wanted to use Naruto uppercutting Neji here. I was planning to save that for later, but I just never really got a good chance for this. But I had to because I thought about it because he used the Naruto vs. Sasuke final fight as an example, so I had to play into that just to go off of his example. So what do you think?
You should have used
Yeah.
You should have used Naruto uppercutting Neji because that would have proved your point so good.
I'll explain where I was going to use that later on when I'm trying to trap him, but he doesn't go into that trap. I don't think because he knew. I think it's just because he just didn't stumble into it blindly. Just coincidence.
Well, right here would have been perfect.
It could have worked, but I wanted to save it for a future point. But what do you think I'm gonna say for the Naruto vs. Sasuke fight? For how this plays into
I don't know.
Where does the nose block someone's vision in the Naruto vs. Sasuke fight?
I guess he does. He punches him at some point in the face. Yeah.
Well, that definitely does happen. So here's where it is.
At the very end, when Sasuke is about to Chidori Naruto and Naruto's headband falls off. This is at Shippuden, not the first final fight. At the very end, he says, "You're my one and only friend," or whatever he says, and then he goes for the Chidori. And because Naruto's below him, his nose is in the way. And
Yes.
I'm going with the stupidest interpretation because Naruto's below him, Sasuke's nose is in his way, ignoring the fact he's looking down and his Sharingan obviously deactivates, which is obviously the point.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, you've convinced me fully now. You have won this point.
Thank you.
So Naruto uses that to his advantage.
The Neji thing as well, with Naruto uppercutting Neji and also Sasuke, and I even saw a meme where it was like Neji in the top left corner. It was Neji before Naruto, and his chin is like pointy, and then Neji after Naruto, and his chin is smooth and round.
It's
and
so
then
good,
it did
bro.
the same for Sasuke. So yeah.
Yeah. You could also say the same about, I think it was the Rasen Shuriken or the Demon Wind Shuriken against Momoshiki in the anime. But again, I didn't say that or the Neji one in this debate, so we'd have to obviously exclude it for what was said in the debate.
Did he he did. He uppercutted him, yeah. That's true.
There's also whatever happened against Toneri. There's also another thing about it.
It did happen against Toneri.
I think it might have been either Uzumaki Barrage or Alliance Barrage or Primary Lotus. There's been a lot of instances that have been also similar to this as well. But ignoring that.
And goes for the uppercut, and it lands successfully, whereas Sasuke misses his Chidori. His vision was obstructed.
Dude, the nose argument is so real.
Yeah. So
it's
by the way, he's about to not counter what I said, so that means it goes through. Instead, he just chooses the opportunity to attack me for misconstruing what he thought, or I thought I was talking about, in terms of what he was talking about. Anyways,
I think that's because of his nose.
It could be.
I think that it. Again, so if you're saying it could be, that means it's equally interpretable that it wasn't his nose.
But that means
if you don't have an inductive element
towards
it being his nose, that means that any other possibility is equivocally possible. So you are just assuming in that instance that the reason that his vision was obstructed was because of his nose, merely because it's possible. There's no likelihood there. And if you think there is, then you'd be committing an appeal to possibility fallacy, which is to say that because it's possible, therefore it's plausible, which is just inherently
Again,
fallacious.
your
Also,
entire
I
thing is
didn't
argument
misunderstand
for ignorance, so.
Or misrepresent Naruto. You're an idiot. In the final fight on the Valley of the End, Sasuke doesn't unlock Nutomo. I'm talking about part 1. I'm talking about the first Valley of the End fight, Numbnut. You should know this since you're the guy who has a podcast
By the way,
dedicated to
you're
Naruto who's
cutting
getting
for
it kicked in,
vulgarity.
whereas I have never read a lick of
Perfect.
Naruto. I only watched the anime when I was 17 years old in 2019, and I'm still fucking putting my foot up because it would clearly be the case that you don't have the context clues to understand, oh, he mentioned how Sasuke's Tomo was upgraded. He must be referencing part 1, but no, you're thought I was talking about part 2, even though I gave facts about the series that would clearly indicate I'm talking about the first fight in part 1. You're terrible. Jesus, this is bad. This guy is dog shit. Oh my goodness, my word. This person is the worst debater I've ever debated. You are worse than Vitamin Man. Guaranteed. I guarantee that Vitamin Man would like manhandle the fuck out of you. He would shove his fist so far up your that it would like come out of your mouth. Like it's actually that fucking
Oh,
good.
that's
You get
great.
vigorously destroyed.
Stop being mean, Mortified.
Conway,
Anyways,
welcome.
I
can see that
think
you
we
joined
can
at the
conclude
perfect
here.
time.
I think we can conclude. I genuinely think we can conclude.
Well, we definitely
You
have
are
a
the worst debater in the entire Naruto space. Unless you want to give another argument.
Yeah, no, well, definitely. Well, first of all,
Yeah.
there's no reason to assume you were only referencing a single Naruto vs Sasuke fight just because you allude to only one. You did say Naruto vs Sasuke, and I did answer
To be
Naruto
fair,
vs Sasuke. So
to be fair, I also thought he was referring to the first fight.
Well, he was, but
Yeah,
that what I say is justification, so it doesn't really matter.
yeah.
there's
You're
that.
still right. You're still valid.
You're just confused. The Tomoe shit doesn't happen in the final fight. Like what the
It doesn't
fuck?
have
Lock
to happen
in,
in the
bro.
second fight. You could be referencing
Okay,
that
prove
first
that.
fight, and that second fight could be.
Prove it happens in the final fight. Go ahead. Prove that Sasuke unlocks a fucking extra Tomoe in the fucking second fight. Prove that.
Okay, so you
Go
didn't
ahead.
hear what I said. That's okay. I'll assume it was a Discord glitch. So
Did you ask if I heard what you said? Right now, I asked you to
No,
prove
no,
that
I was saying
he
it's a
unlocked the
Discord glitch
extra
that-
Tomoe
or
in
that's
the
just
second Valley of the End fight, brother.
definitely me being.
Like, dude, imagine if like I was like imagine if I was performing this bad in a One Piece debate, I would give up.
Oh, now that I
I
think
would
about
never
it, there is
scale the
that
series
scene.
again. Goodness.
That's a good thing you're not.
Pause for a
Anywho,
sec.
what's the next argument, please? I've defeated every single claim you've made with
Pause
ease.
for a
What's the
sec.
next claim?
Yeah, so obviously we know that 1010,
What?
because her field of view is obstructed because of her nose.
Yeah, so here I can imagine he's just losing his mind because I'm going back to that same argument when he asked for the next argument instead of concluding.
Yeah, but also I remember there was a scene where Naruto punches Sasuke in the gut, and you could attribute that to the nose blind spot in the
Yeah.
first fight. Remember where he does that combo and Sasuke's guys
Exactly,
go
yeah.
white?
Well, even
Yeah.
the final kick of it is still a kick to his like upper chin, or well, I guess his chin. But yeah,
Exactly. The
Yeah.
nose argument is so real.
Literally.
And what do we?
Then obviously she would
You
focus
have
on
not
mouth.
proven that.
Well,
That has not been proven.
well, again, the appeal to real life, and so basically,
I'm such
Good
a
stuff.
good rage baiter.
Yeah.
Oh, me saying this gets under your skin, huh? Well, let me keep doing it.
Yeah.
on that.
No,
I
I
get that
didn't commit
completely.
an appeal to reality fallacy. I've literally already interacted with that. Everyone in chat that was paying
And what
attention
were
heard
we?
me interact with that already. I gave a third Steel Man, which I didn't actually grant, by the way, chat. I said, hypothetically, if I were to Steel Man X, then X would follow, okay? And yeah, so that's like
Actually,
a
Y
hypothetical Steel
falls
Man into a
from X.
hypothetical Steel Man into a hypothetical Steel Man. I repeated everything you had to say. Either that or I've equally interpreted it to mean not.
Shush, he's trying to sound smart. Shush.
Whatever you provide. So what's the new argument? What's the next claim? Like, is that it? Or do you have another reason as to why Kimimaru, whether it be the ash bones or whether
Kimimaru, by the way, not Kimimaro. Oh, by the way,
I
the
get
ash
that.
bones again.
I never know how to pronounce his name either.
Okay, fair enough.
be some other ability is going to defeat Tenten or kill her?
So as mentioned earlier, the eyes don't bend around the nose, and because the nose is in the way.
He wants me
Which,
to give
which
you
as we
points.
established, is a completely valid argument here.
I know. He's demanding, begging. I do a new point. I just go back to so as bitch. I just ask like, without missing a beat, bro. Just on it, like nothing happened. I love it.
I would do the same. Absolutely.
Wait, you prove that?
Through the nose.
No, I'm just playing. That's kind of stupid. Wait, again, so you're like shadowboxing right now? I've already...
Okay, so actually what I said right here is new and important because this gets into something.
So as mentioned earlier, the eyes don't bend around the nose, and because the nose is in the way.
Wait,
you
you prove that?
through the nose.
Yeah, so okay. 1010 can't see through the nose. I said that hoping he would ask me to prove it because I'm trying to bait him here because I was going to say the only way to do that in Naruto is through the Byakugan. So he would then naturally follow that up with, well, prove she doesn't have the Byakugan. That right there is a bait to get her to, prove she's not in the Hyuga clan. Because once I do that, she's no longer a part of the Kaguya bloodline.
That would have been crazy work if you pulled that off.
Exactly. So that's where I was trying to set up those domino pieces that he just never went down that line of at all. I tried. But that's also where I was going to get to the Neji uppercutting, or sorry, the Naruto uppercutting Neji thing, is because Neji did have his Byakugan.
Yeah, you could have still like just proved your own the thingy with the thingy. Yeah.
So that's where I was saving it for. That's why I'd saved it for here, but I never got the chance to use it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The greatest tragedy of all is the bait that never gets.
No, I'm just playing. That's kind of stupid. Wait, again, so you're like shadowboxing right now. I've already defeated the claim about the nose thing that got like shit on. So I'm asking for a new argument, right? If you think you won the point, you can just move on and think that you won. But I'm asking for a new argument.
Well, no, this matters.
What's the next line of
this matters because there is evidence in the series to suggest that she couldn't, because otherwise we know based on evidence in the series that she would be able to, such as the Byakugan, which has X-ray vision. It can see.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So again, this is like the third or fourth time that he's asking for a new argument. I was so expecting him to be done and either give his conclusion or leave. He just doesn't do it because whatever I said here was enough to get him, for whatever reason, to just go along with it. And he just didn't ask for a new argument. He just kept arguing the same point because I said this. Whatever I said here, like, oh no, this is actually important because blah blah blah. It's just me saying that. It's not actually that at all.
Yeah.
That she couldn't because.
But it sounds so convincing the way I cut him off and just my genuine tone of voice. But it's just not at all.
The claim about the nose thing that got like shit on. So I'm asking for a new argument, right? If you think you won the point, you can just move on and think that you won. But I'm asking for a new argument.
Well, no, this matters.
What's the next line of
because there is evidence in the series to suggest that she couldn't, because otherwise.
I can't believe that worked. That's so funny.
Based on evidence in the series that she would be able to, such as the Byakugan, which has X-ray vision. It can see through objects.
Why does the Byakugan having the capacity to see through objects mean that Tenten having a nose suggests that her vision is going to be obscured to the extent in which she can't track the bones?
I can't believe I got him back on track with that. So good.
Why does that follow?
Because she doesn't have the Byakugan.
Yeah, you can
right. So if someone in real life has X-ray vision like Superman, and then Mortified.
Yeah, but he's going for the X-ray vision route rather than the Byakugan route, so I never really got to use it because stupid Superman example.
Doesn't, but I have a nose. I hate this. Superman possessing X-ray vision is suggestive of Mortified having a blockade of vision because he has a nose. Why does that follow again?
Oh my God. Assume that Tintin has X-ray vision, but is there anything in the series that
would didn't say that she does?
I didn't say you did either. Would there be anything in the series that would lead any type?
She doesn't need X-ray vision. You're the one trying to argue that her vision is going to be obscured because she possesses a nose, and you have not successfully advocated for this, bro. Can you please give a new argument? What's the next?
Oh my God!
All right, I don't want you to get mad. I'll just do a different argument so you don't get mad. Okay, let me go see what I want to do.
That's such a shame.
But we stay on this argument.
I did also just want to add, obviously I'm sure you would agree.
I can't believe I got away with it. All right, I'll go find a new argument. Let's see here. Oh, right. Yeah, let me just add one thing real quick. I got away with it.
Crazy work.
Tintin has more than one hole in her body. It's more than just her mouth.
What other holes? Her nose holes and her ear holes? What, bro? Her asshole? What?
Yeah, so I think you've listed all of them. But those would be always open.
The same arguments that I gave are applicable to those other parts of her body.
I cut that out.
If I need to fucking hold your hand and remind you, you're assuming that you're assuming that Kimimara's bones are fast enough. You're assuming that she cannot block the attacks with her abundance of ninja tools. Okay? So until you interact with those 2 fucking points, I don't care that she has holes. Her having holes doesn't inherently mean that the bones are granted impalement. You still have to establish that her body is going to be damaged when coming into contact with these bones, despite whether or not her mouth is open. What's to suggest that she can't open her mouth and fucking bite into his bones and eat that shit like candy?
Again,
is that a contradiction?
If it's not the mouth, then that wouldn't.
It is actually.
So that's why I guess I brought up the other holes because of the whole like, the vision thing. It's Tintin's gonna see it coming. If she can see it from the mouth, then whatever. If he's gonna argue that, but obviously she wouldn't be able to see it from other potential areas. But yeah, for the
you could.
It's just indisputable at that point.
You could also argue from like the whole like, well, his bones are technically harder than steel, and since we know she eats and doesn't bite through her forks, that she can't bite through his bones.
That's funny. He would just argue that she's not trying to bite through it, but she could.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he would.
I also
Yeah,
haven't
he
proven
will.
the durability of the bones yet, so that's a later point. But
Yeah.
something he said here is important, that, she would just keep her mouth closed, or she would just bite the bone. So that's why the other holes also matter, because like I said, they're always open.
Well, okay, but you could also. Oh my God,
It's so stupid.
yeah, that's fair, I guess, but it is stupid. But you could also put the whole like because like the whole contingent with the mouth thing is that her nose blocks her mouth, so you could argue that she does yap a lot and provide an example of that, and that she
Yeah,
does do it
yeah,
chew as well.
I basically say what you're saying, but in my own words, in this like
Hmm.
next segment here.
Into his
Okay.
bones and eat that shit like candy.
Again,
Is that a
if
contradiction?
If it's not the mouth, then that wouldn't apply to the other orifices in her body. And then we've already gone over that the organs don't.
Again, no. What if she flexes her butthole and breaks the bone? What if she fucking sneezes and breaks the bone in her
Oh
nose?
my God.
I think there are other ways she could break the bones despite them being in her quote-unquote holes. And again, you're still assuming that the bone is going to be provided in a
My
circumstance in which
God.
they're in the holes. You've yet to prove this.
Yeah, so
Dude.
with a Byakugan, it's the 359-degree vision. Other eyes don't have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
she,
because
yeah, so
Tenten
that's where
doesn't
you
have
get to the
Sharingan,
obstructed
that
vision.
again, I interacted with this already with the Superman analogy, bro. If Superman has supervision, okay,
No,
I
you
don't have
didn't.
supervision, and I have a nose, and I have holes in my body, being my nose holes, mouth, right? I have holes, belly button. He said, despite the fact that Mortified has many holes, it's not going to be suggestive of me having some sort of impairment. Just because Superman has fucking extra vision and I don't, doesn't mean that my vision's somehow impaired. Why does that follow? Tenten doesn't have the Byakugan. Neji and Hinata have the Byakugan. Does that mean that Tenten's vision is impaired because she doesn't have X-ray vision? What's the argument for that? Why does that follow?
Because she can't see through her body if she doesn't have X-ray vision.
Okay, why
Oh,
does
you
her
didn't use
inability
the
to see
Neji
through her
thing
own
yet.
body suggestive of an inability to see in general? She could
What is that straw man?
I don't know.
He's also
I-
conceding she can't see through her own body. So
That's
he's
true.
giving up the
So
X-ray
he's
vision
conceding the
point
nose thing.
in general.
He is conceding the nose argument.
So by doing that,
by
he's also
happenstance.
conceded to the mouth or the nose.
The nose argument. Yeah, he did concede to that. That's funny.
So,
still see the bones and dodge them.
because I've already suggested the depth is what mattered, and he didn't counter the depth. So
He
the bones and
hasn't
block
countered anything.
them, see the bones and destroy them, even if she doesn't have X-ray vision.
It's to suggest that she
Seemingly.
can't see the bones on the other side of her body because the body would be in between.
Why would she need to do that? Why would she need to do that?
If the bones are there and attacking her from that angle, then she would need to see them to know that they're coming.
Again, that's
Yeah, I
essentially
kind
how
of wish
fast the bones
Mortified
move.
was
Dude.
here so I could also bully him about his whole argument from ignorance thing. I could just
No,
be
that's
like at all of his points. Dude, did you not realize argument from ignorance? 5 minutes later, dude, again, argument from ignorance. Oh, it'd be so perfect.
I know.
Then she would need to see them to know that they're
Every
coming.
5 to every like 1 to 10 minutes, I would just be like argument for ignorance, argument for ignorance. It'd be perfect.
Again, that's assumptions of how fast the bones move, dude.
No, they
That's
are, because
assuming
it
that
doesn't know
she's,
they're coming.
that's assuming, again, you're assuming that she has no methodology to know that they're coming. Good luck proving that. And beyond this, you're assuming that there's going to be a circumstance provided in this hypothetical fight in which the bones can even make contact with her, even if they're seemingly behind her. She's a fucking ninja.
Because the nose argument.
Yeah, she can be
Like-
a ninja, but that, again, ninjas are humans, as is narratively proven in the series. And
Uh-huh.
unless there's any...
That's also what he said earlier in the debate, so we agree that
He did.
humans.
He did also
Sensory
see
capability.
that they're humans earlier, yeah.
can think of that Tenten might have, if you can think of one.
I don't think that she would need a sensory ability to necessarily detect something from behind her. And again, we're still assuming that even if it comes from behind you, that it has a means to tag you. A snail could sneak up on me at 0 miles an hour. Okay,
So ignore. Okay, I'm gonna go back because something he says
you
here.
would need a sensory ability to necessarily
What did
detect
she
something
say
from
there?
What's that?
You said something?
Yeah, so he's saying he doesn't think Tintin necessarily needs a sensory capability to sense something behind her, but he doesn't follow that up with anything. So he doesn't say what she would need to sense behind her, if not a sensory capability.
I guess the follow-up was the whole snail could sneak up on me. But I was going to say to that as well. He said at 0 miles per hour. Technically, it couldn't because 0 miles per hour is stillness. So it would need to be going at least
That's
Well, you
funny
could
too.
say an infinitesimal.
He might have
miles per
said
hour,
like
but
0 miles an hour. We'll have to listen back to that. But I
Sure.
don't think that his point there. Plus, I contest that point. Obviously, I don't think that is a good follow up for how she could sense it
No.
based on what he says. But you'll see that in a second.
no, I was just arguing the particulars.
Yeah.
Have, if you can think of one.
I don't think that she would need a sensory ability to necessarily detect something from behind her. And again, we're still assuming that even if it comes from behind you, that it has a means to tag you. A snail could sneak up on me at 0 miles an hour, okay? But because of the fact that it's 0 miles an hour, I might just be able to turn around and notice it before it tags me. It's like that hypothetical. It's like, for $100 million, would you accept a poisonous snail that chases you across the whole earth? And it doesn't have to go through the ocean. It can either teleport or it can just walk on the ocean surface, right? And that snail chases you for the rest of your life. And if it touches a part of your body or your clothing anytime, you not only lose all your money, but you die immediately, okay? You ever heard of that hypothetical? So let's use that hypothetical and apply it to the bones with 1010. Even if
Can I
we
say
assume
something?
that her back
What's up?
That hypothetical doesn't apply here, so it's just a useless analogy.
Well, I get into that.
turn for some arbitrary reason, which you haven't proven is even
good.
going to be circumstantially providable. But even if it was hypothetically, which I've not steel man, just hypothetically steel man, even if that followed, okay, why would
Or
it
I
then
guess
follow
you
that
would
she
say
now
like
possesses an
prove analogy or prove that that's analogous.
Yeah.
inability to dodge it simply
Yeah.
because she wasn't facing the bones, quote unquote, for a specific amount of time? Why are the bones going to work? Because she has holes. That doesn't follow. So why do the bones work?
Why are you so unwilling to stillman? That aside, don't actually answer.
Because that's like the
are
third
you so-
time he's been like, yeah, but if I was going to stillman it, but I'm not actually stillmanning it, but if I were to do it, I just don't understand why he was doing that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
funny.
why, again, when I did that earlier to a lesser degree, I apologized profusely for it ahead of time. I was like, I'm sorry I'm using this, but I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I should.
You don't have to answer. That's not my contention. So you did mention something interesting to where in this hypothetical the person turns around and then they notice it. How would they notice it?
What? What was that? Would they notice it?
No, you said in your hypothetical that the person with the snail, if they turn around, then they would notice it. So how are they noticing it?
In that case, they could be noticing it by turning around.
Well,
1010 wouldn't need to turn around to notice it. I think that there's an infinite amount of possibilities that suggest she can notice it despite not being turned around because it's fiction.
So-
but in real life, the snail, you probably only know the snail's there by seeing it physically, to be honest. Human intuition is very unreliable.
Keep in mind, he's already admitted that 1010's a human. So.
That's true.
So I'd say that people generally would see the snail, and that's how they noticed it. But for 1010, because it's Naruto and it's fiction, who knows? Man, there's an infinite amounts of reasons potentially as to why she would notice something that's behind her back. Not only this, but again, you're still assuming that there's going to be a circumstance provided in which her back is turned. What's the argument for that? Why is her back going to be turned? Why are the bones coming from behind her? Prove that.
Turned from what direction? From Kimimaro?
Because of Bracken dance.
That's not how standard battle assumptions work.
Kimimaro-
Okay? VSBW, both opponents face each other, brother. They face each other. It's disingenuous to have my opponent with her back turned to your
Good Bracken dance.
He's crashing out at this point, not letting me speak because it's the most obvious answer in the world. But
opponent.
I
It's
agree.
full of shit. So she's okay. Then why is her back turned? Why are the bones coming from the backside?
They don't have to be
Why?
having her back
Correct.
to Kimimaro. Kimimaro can make bones from places outside of his body.
Okay, and why are those bones going to be able to hurt or affect 1010 in any way?
So similar to Jubi, Three Eyes,
Oh
Kid
my
Hell's
god.
God Tree absorbed Madara, who couldn't sense Zetsu behind him. Tenpen likely couldn't.
oh, by the way, I
Again, I
completely
should say-
disagree with what I just said. Obviously, he sensed that Zetsu was behind him. But-
I should also say that I've also lost the argument since I engaged with the why can it go from behind her and bringing up the Bracken dance. I also lost that
there you go.
because I
Since the
engaged
bones.
with it.
Yeah.
behind her.
Yeah.
It can be fiction, but again, we're specifically looking at Naruto and the rules and limitations bound set within that universe, the restrictions.
That was such an important thing that I just said there, in my opinion. That right there
Rewind?
won me the debate. This right here.
Rewind that.
It can be fiction, but again, we're specifically looking at Naruto and the rules and limitations bound set within that universe, the restrictions, therefore.
That is that just directly counters his whole fiction argument.
What he was saying?
Basically, yeah. Of the fiction
Oh.
part of it. But yeah.
Because he said what you said, but it was what he was saying.
So Shinobi have some sorts of training, I'd imagine, from the academy and from they're like Jonin Sensei, masters.
I would
right?
imagine, again, argument for
But
making
beyond
sense.
this, again, him having the ability to spawn bones still
Also
assumes that they're
irrelevant.
fast enough, or that there's some sort of circumstantial providence in which she's affected. This goes back to the snail analogy. What if the snail is like 1 mile an hour? Like I could have a whole conversation and sip martini to
Oh,
someone,
1 mile an
and then
hour.
be on my way
Correct
before I even
himself.
noticed the snail was approaching me.
Yes.
So you're still assuming grandiosely that the bones work.
So I'm glad you're
We're
going back to
asking
that.
for like the 10th time. We're not backtracking,
No,
brother.
no, no,
I have
no,
not
you
backtracked
didn't hear
once.
what I said. I said I'm glad you're going back to that. Again, Discord might have just glitched there.
Yeah, you
So-
kind of did with the 1
okay,
mile per hour thing.
was gonna say is, sorry, did you want to finish whatever you're saying, or do you want me to go?
You can respond if you want.
Oh, I love that he
In the
conceded
instances that
that
you
to
listed-
your no backtracking thing. That's amazing.
It seems to be, you haven't said it, but it seems to be like the person is turning around through coincidence or just because it's been a while since they've turned around, and that's why they're turning around, and therefore they would react to what's behind them by noticing it because they turn around. If Tintin doesn't have any particular reason to turn around, then the bones would just likely hit her.
Why is that true?
Because if she has no reason to turn around, why would she?
Strongest. That's
Especially
crazy
if
work.
No, you're still assuming that the bones are going to hit her, right? Just because she's deciding to arbitrarily not turn around in your hypothetical, which I have not agreed to. But it's still assumptions of the bones working, man. You still haven't explained to DC why a circumstance in which her getting affected by the bones is even applicable. Not only this, but you haven't even established the AP of the bones or established why they affect her. So I'm not going to steel man this, but if I was to steel man this, why would they work on her?
Sure, the
Like,
bones
this
are...
just goes back to the other argument, right? Like, you see how there's no answer here? I think we're ready to conclude, man. I think you need to give a new argument, because we can move on past this argument. I've refuted it multiple times. I've given multiple hypothetical steel mans to display why you're incorrect. Can you just give a new argument if you have another argument?
Yeah, you're saying
I don't feel like
the
interacting
AP
with
of
you
the
anymore.
bones. The bones are stated to be stronger than steel. I don't feel like looking it up. If you don't want to deal with that, I'll just say they're relative to
yeah.
normal human bones.
I'm glad you acknowledged that. Yeah, that's good.
No, but did you hear what I said?
I didn't.
I'm gonna rewind and play this at 1x speed so you can hear exactly what I just said.
Stated to be stronger than steel. I don't feel like looking it up. If you don't want to deal with that, I'll just say they're relative to normal human bones.
Oh, dude, come on.
Honestly, I was surprised he agreed to this. I thought he was gonna say that prove they're as strong as normal human bones. These bones are different. They could be weaker.
Yeah,
He
that
doesn't
would be
say that though. He
funny.
just agrees. So surprising, but
Yeah.
Okay, they're relative to normal human bones. Why are human bones going to hurt Tenten again?
It would go for her organs through her orifices.
And again,
Yeah, her organs are...
that's another chance. That's just another freebie for him to just try and contest organs in Naruto not having whatever durability.
Well, that's not like you had the panel prepared anyways, right?
I could just look that up very easily. The question is, would
Okay,
I be willing to do it?
Okay, well, if you're gonna look that up, you should have looked up the strongest steel thing, just to prove that.
Well, I definitely could have, but I
Um,
didn't.
Yeah.
protected by her skin, bro.
Well,
You said
that's
through
why-
orifices.
yeah, through-
We've interacted with that already. So you don't have another argument, do you? I think I've interacted with everything. Do you have a new argument or no? Because I think I already won. But do you have something else to say or no?
So
A
when
new
the
argument.
bones
think you
go
argued
up
this
her
from-
and then attack her kidneys.
I think you argued from.
I've addressed that
ignorance.
already.
for
Bro.
real.
I've addressed that already. I've addressed that already. Do you have another argument? Or are we done?
You haven't addressed
I
anything.
think
All
we're
you've
good.
done is argue
All right,
from
guys. What do we
ignorance.
think?
All right, and that's the debate. The rest of it is just the people
Okay.
in chat giving their opinions, giving their judgment, or whatever.
Wait, I want to see that.
Okay.
I want to see who agrees with who.
Code was the only one to agree with me, but not a lot of people talked.
What do you think
Really?
happened, guys? How'd it go?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Shit was bad, bro.
Tension?
That shit was terrible.
That was the
Damn.
worst shit I've ever listened to in my entire life.
Like,
Why,
no,
why the
if
fuck were you arguing
you
about
did
noses,
lose
bro?
more.
Just scale.
It's not about scaling, it's about debating.
That's
I
so
could just say I lost.
That's
Wait,
How
true.
why
did
are you
he
doing that
prove
voice, bro?
Tenten
Is that
loses? I'm
intentional? Are you
confused.
trolling?
Have you seen the Walky Talky podcast?
Yeah, he's intentionally
Then
trolling.
why is it so pinned?
Like,
Must
not
be-
even
You didn't provide reason
Must
for
be
why she
Downey.
sensed the bones.
Wait, do you guys talk like that the entire
Okay, Code,
podcast?
what? Okay, why do you think I lost, Code? Let's get it.
Yeah, you didn't provide reason for why she would sense the bones. You didn't counter his moderate thing.
That means I lost the debate?
Yeah, if you're contended on Tenten
You
being able
lost
to
the
detect
debate
those
for
bones,
many, many other reasons, my guy.
and you
No,
did
I'm
Okay,
not.
yeah,
why
we're
she
good.
wouldn't.
No, I'm not.
Let me
No, I'm
finish my
not.
sentence.
Well,
If
you're
you're
already
contingent
wrong.
on that,
I'm not contingent on that.
if you're contingent
You're
on
ar-
that, you just have
I'm
no way
not.
to win.
That's a if. Nice hypothetical, dickhead. I wasn't. I wasn't contingent on that. Retard. Nice if. Way to go, Code. If this happened, then Mortified boss, I'm Code. If.
Don't misrepresent me. Don't be a
it went
cunt.
this other way. That's what you're doing. You're like, okay, anyone else think I lost? Anyone?
Well, more since
Besides
Yes,
my number
me.
one dick writer?
let's say
I
that's
do.
the only person, and that's his only reason why he thinks he
Alright.
lost. Is
So we got the straight.
oh,
The
am
straight
I-
is low key.
Can you guys hear?
The Ood might think the straight is biased. Not that he is biased, but
Oh, yeah, you can.
anyone else? Anyone else have any thoughts?
Yeah,
I know.
it
I know.
would
Me.
I
it's not
I
contingent
do.
because
I
like
have
there were a
plenty
million
of thoughts.
Oh,
like that.
hello?
Mortified.
Oh, I lied for a second, but
Can you guys hear me?
no, it definitely
Yeah.
wasn't a loss because even if it was, it wasn't contingent on that because even if that did go through, there were like a million other points of skepticism.
Well, this would just be looking at
Like,
that one point.
like,
If
no,
those
No,
are the
there
one that
wasn't.
thinks that
There
he
was
lost,
just a
and
bunch
that's
of arguments from ignorance.
And do you think that the debate should be won based on whoever won the most amount of points, or should it really just be that like last point that really is the only thing that actually matters?
Well, typically in a debate, if you're going on a points-based system, then yeah, it would be based on the most amount of points won.
Yeah, I don't
Which
typically
you also
do those, but I don't know like if like Sage's server has like a specific rules list since we technically debated in there. Not that I paid attention to those, but
I think it probably does type shit. If we're going based on that, then you did also win incidental, like not incidentally, you did also win that just by like judgment calls.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is you won based on points, and you also won the fifth point as well based on what we've discussed here as well, which is like it is proven in the series that if you want to go down that path, that people are vulnerable from the nose down because of the blind spot.
yeah, I'm not interested in the first 4 points. The only point I really care for judgment on, because I think that's what determines the debate, would be 0.5.
I'm just saying you won those as well.
Yeah,
which has
I'm
helped.
just not really worried about
Obviously.
those because I would be willing to just not count those points and only count 0.5 for my own sake.
Okay, well, I'm just saying as an unbiased, objective judge, you did also win those points.
Okay, but my contention with that, the reason I wouldn't care for that is because if you are granting me those first 4 points, and that 5th point, it doesn't matter. Whether I won or lost that 5th point, I would have just won the debate by default regardless, just based on points.
I see. Well, to that, I would argue that a clean sweep is a better win.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yes.
Well, that's the debate. I just got lazy with the censors at the end. I just didn't care because at that point it's alright. I already cut out all the vulgar stuff and especially all the swears early on. I just stopped doing it later on.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, that's fine.
But ignoring that.